And we are back. Yes, this is Creativity in Focus, a live video podcast where we interview an artist and show their art and talk a little bit about the business side of that. It's phenomenal. We are here almost every week. Okay, before we dive into our interview today, a few announcements. First of all, Happy New Year. This is the first episode of 2020. We hope to have many, many more. We do have a very incredible lineup for this year, so stay tuned. Every time we announce we have an episode, check it out. We are live, and the main reason behind that is that we love your interaction. We actually love when you give your 2 cents about a topic or you ask questions to the artist. The best way to do that is by looking for the chat box or the comment box wherever you're watching. So if you're watching on a website, the chat box is either beside or below the video. If you're watching on social media, it's usually the comment box below the video. That's the best place for you to interact with us. And please share this podcast. We rely on you to share about all these artists that we show every time. It's content only, nothing will be sold, so you're free to post on groups as well. So if you belong to a group that is related to the topic, why not do that? You never know who you're going to inspire out there. And get the word out about the artist as well. The other thing is, after we go offline, this podcast stays wherever you're watching and also goes to all the podcast directories out there. So wherever you like to watch or listen to a podcast, that's where you find us, Creativity in Focus, including Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. So many, many places out there for you to get inspired by these amazing artists. Okay, now my guest today is Renee Nelson. Welcome, Renee.
Hello.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
So I know we have a lot of pieces to show about your work, but before we dive into that, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Renee?
I'm Renee Nelson. I live in Maryland, in White Plains, Maryland. I've been doing artwork for many, many years. I started out as a watercolorist, but probably 7 or so years ago, I was introduced to encaustic, and it's now like my favorite medium.
Oops.
I've dabbled in lots of things, but it's my favorite.
And tell me about so you started with watercolor, correct?
Yes.
And then how did you get to encaustic art?
I was taking classes just everywhere that I could find. I'm just always interested in learning new things. And a local gallery had a person that was going to teach an encaustic class, and it just, when I found out what encaustic was, it just sort of fascinated me. So I took the class, and it was very basic, but it was lots of fun. And so the same artist, she taught the class like every year. She would do a workshop, and I would take it every year for about 3 years until finally I just decided this was the medium for me, and I got everything I needed to start doing it on my own.
That's cool. Now, define to us what is encaustic art.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
Encaustic, the word encaustic means to burn in, and so the encaustic medium is made up of two ingredients: beeswax and damar resin. Okay, so those are the basic 2 ingredients, and everything has to be fused together. So there's a heating process that goes into it. But encaustics is basically beeswax.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I've probably been doing it for about 7 years now.
Okay, cool.
The
We are going to,
encaustic
the encaustic part, yeah. We are going to start showing some of your work, and remember, folks, this is live because we love your interaction. So if you have any questions, if you never heard about encaustic art before, this is the perfect time to get to know about it because Renee is an expert on this topic. So let's see the first picture. Can you see the picture, Renee?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a kind of a basic abstract. It's probably 3 feet by 2 feet. And it's just a mixture of the pigments that are involved. You can color the wax in a variety of different ways. So this one is just a real basic abstract.
Do you think you could speak a little louder because it's a little low on people's end?
Yep. Okay. Sorry.
So explain, what do you have there? You did that on a canvas. How was the process?
Yeah, actually, can you hear me okay now?
Uh-huh.
The, the encaustic can be applied to almost any surface, which is another one of the things I love about it. This piece is on a piece of plywood, so
Oh,
um, anything that is absorbent is a good basis for the encaustic to stick to. But it can also be on canvas. It can be on things that are not porous as well. You
mm,
just have to prepare the surface the right way.
okay. So you have a substrate, in this case is plywood, and
Yes, that.
then
Mhm.
are you working with, I know there's wax, but how do you get the colors? Do you use paint?
No, the actually when I create my own pigments, it's the beeswax, and then I use powder pigments to create the color.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I kind of melt them together and put them in make little bars out of like a muffin tray, and then
Uh-huh.
I've got my colors. But
That's
I
fun.
use mainly. You can color them in other ways, but I use powder pigments.
You like the powder. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see one more piece.
Okay.
Okay, I have Einstein here.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the creation of this piece.
Okay. This one, actually, I it was up in Rochester, New York, taking a workshop from somebody, and that's where this one was created. And this one is like about 12 by 12. I was trying to see, I'm trying to, you know, stretch the limits of encaustic to see what you can do with it. So you really can do everything. You can do, uh, portraits. You can do landscapes. Just anything you could do with oils or acrylics, you can do with encaustic. It's
Wow.
just there's a bit of a learning curve, and the wax sets up really fast, so you have to work a little faster than with other mediums.
So this one, was it also the pigments or did you use oil or acrylic?
No, this one it's all beeswax,
Oh,
all pigmented beeswax.
that's fantastic. Okay, let's see one more.
Okay.
That's a cross, right?
Okay, you're right. That one's across. That one's about 3 feet tall, about 2 feet wide, um, and that one has some multimedia things in it. You can see the thorn, the crown of thorns that's in there. But I like to repurpose a lot of materials in my encaustic. So that whole cross is made out of I don't know if I can say the word Amazon, but it's made out of cardboard.
Cardboard.
Yeah,
Oh, you use the packaging.
yeah, it's recycled cardboard boxes is what it's made out
Uh,
of.
uh,
It's covered with wax, and there's a few other things on it as well. But that's the basically what that one's made of.
okay. So you use some, you put the thorn and everything, and then you cover everything with wax?
That's correct. Uh-huh.
Okay, fantastic. Now tell me, what attracts you to the wax?
Oh
Why
man,
wax?
yeah. There's so many things about it. I love the medium because it smells good. It's fun to work with. I enjoy the heating process, the fusing process of it. But I also like that it comes from nature. It's beeswax, and there's nothing toxic about it as long as you heat everything at
Oh,
the proper temperatures. Yeah, there's no toxic anything.
uh-huh.
You don't
That's
have
great.
the cleanup is super easy.
Uh-huh.
Um, so those are just a few of the things I love about it.
Now, you mentioned burning, right? So
Right.
that, what are we talking about? Is it a kiln? Do you use a torch? What?
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple ways you can fuse. Fusing is what every piece requires, and I use a torch in my studio, but I you can also use like a embossing gun. You can use
Okay.
a regular heat gun. It doesn't have to be a flame. So there's, all you need is to create a slight sheen on the surface of the wax to
Mm-hmm.
make it fuse to the layer before it, because you kind of build up things in layers.
Okay. Got it. Let's see one more of your work here. I saw some bowls that I thought were fascinating. So I'm not limited to 2D, am I?
No, mm-mm. No,
Could be.
that's another one of the fun things. When I was first started in this and was taking the workshops, I thought that all you could do was, two-dimensional, but I've just through experimentation, I've discovered so many fun things you can do, so many sculptural things. So this bowl is that the basis of that was built with like not paper mache. I'm trying to think of the right word. Anyway, there's like a substrate underneath it, and then the whole thing is covered in wax.
Wow.
So that can be done. And then I have another one right here in my room with me that I can show you that
Oh,
was
yes.
is
Let's
just
see
purely
that.
wax. You want
Do
me
you
to show?
have one there?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, can you get it? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, can you see this? Okay. Can you see this?
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, yes.
Okay. So that's
Wow. Very cool.
now this one is not built around anything. This is just solid wax.
Wow. Wow. So you use the pigment and then, well, of course, you either need a mold or something for that. But
No,
that uses a lot of wax, right?
yes, it does. Some
And
more
does
than
it
others.
last?
I'm sorry.
Does it last for a long time?
Yes. The encaustic medium, it goes back as far as the Egyptians. They've found things in the Egyptian tombs that are still beautiful today. They'll really last forever as long as you don't expose them to too much heat.
Okay.
So it's a permanent, very permanent medium. And here's, you want to see other bowls, or I've got some other ones here to show you.
Uh-huh. I want to see. We all want to see.
Here's one.
Oh, look how pretty that one.
I don't know. Does the color show up?
Yes, the purple and
Yeah.
white. Yes. How long does it take you to make a bowl like that?
Um, the bowl is, it really doesn't take that long. It's creating the substrate that goes inside the wax that takes me the longest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So here's a different example.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's very colorful.
Yeah. And you can color in a multitude of ways. Now this
Uh-huh.
one, these were not these bowls were not pigmented wax. The pigment was, I mean, the color was added later with India ink on the bowls.
Oh, really?
Right. So there's lots of ways to add color to these.
Okay. Do you sell your pieces?
I do. I do.
Okay, tell me a little bit about prices. So for those that, you always have people that they get inspired and they want to start making,
Right.
but yeah, so there is the little side business as well that can happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of depends on the size of the item and how much wax and time is involved. But I'd say for these bowls, something like this, I've been selling for about $75.
Okay.
A little bit
Nice.
bigger, maybe $150 because there is a lot of wax on it, but it's
That's very cool.
yeah, it's not cost prohibitive to make them.
Okay, what about the wall pieces like the first one that you showed?
Which one was the first one? I've got a couple wall pieces I can show you here.
Okay. Okay.
See this one?
See, I see, and it has a lot of texture too, right?
Right, right. That's another one of the things I just love about the encaustic. Its texture, the bottom part is just wood with a kind of a burn-in texture, but it's not encaustic. The only encaustic part of this one is the part you see the drip down.
Uh,
Yeah.
Very cool.
And
And it's wood. The substrate is wood.
yes, that
Okay.
one is wood. And then this one is, I don't know if you can see,
Oh.
this one is also on wood, but again, I've reused cardboard
Okay.
for
Like a
this.
corrugated cardboard.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Now
Yeah.
you got me. Now you got me really interested. I'm not much of a 2D person when it comes to making things, but you put volume, you put depth, and I love it.
I
That's
know.
very good.
I love all the texture that you can get. Here's a little bit different one.
Okay. Are these tiles?
They're just wood. It's all wood. It's just pieces of
Wow.
wood. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
glued in an arrangement, but each one has a little bit different texture to it.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
That's very, very cool. Yeah, and Renee, I've seen actually a friend of mine did one where it's a wall piece, but she
Uh-huh.
uses textile and then the wax, and the result was very cool as well.
that's one of the another beauty of the beeswax is you can embed just about anything in it. You can embed fabrics, textiles. I've got, here's an example of one. I've got, you
Oh,
can see little things embedded in it.
like a pin of several
Yeah,
pins.
and
Wow, very cool.
rusty nails,
Uh-huh.
and that puzzle piece at the top.
Love it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
the
it
wax.
gets you into recycling as well, right?
Right. I'm doing all of that.
Very cool. I have a few comments here.
Okay.
Guest 4226 is saying gorgeous. Wow, wow, bows.
Oh, thank
Guest 42 is saying, oh, what does she mean? The substrate is substrate inside the bowl.
you. Okay.
What do
Uh,
you mean when you say that?
I mean that I sort of form the bowl with something like paper mache, or you can create it with wire, just anything to create a form of some kind, and then
Uh-huh.
that form is covered with the wax.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So
Another one here, just a second. Guess 4582. I missed this. She use a form to create the shape of the bow, or are they free form?
the pink one I showed you was kind of free form.
Okay.
The others have been created like over the top of an existing bowl.
Uh-huh.
That's how I get the shape of it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, as a hobby, what are the basic needs that I have to have? Is it an expensive hobby? Do I need to have a lot of materials to be able to do this?
You don't have to have a lot of things to get started. It can be a little pricey, but if you just want to make some basic stuff and just sort of play at home, you can do it inexpensively. You need you'll need like a pancake iron kind of, what do you call that? Like a they sell special things for this, but you don't have to buy those. I just go to like thrift stores
Uh-huh.
and get like an old pancake iron type thing. Anything that will heat up, that will heat
Okay,
up.
so it doesn't have to be iron, or does it have to be iron?
No, it doesn't have to be
No.
iron. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's something that will heat up. So you need something like that to melt your wax on. Um, and then you're going to need a substrate. A piece of wood. You can put it on paper. You can apply it to just about anything.
Wow. Uh-huh.
So there's that. You'll need some paintbrushes. Something old that you don't care so much about because they're going to be filled with wax. But
Uh-huh.
the beauty of the cleanup is that all you do is put it in your jar and let it get hard, and then you put it back on your iron when you're ready to start
To
painting again.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
so
so
n-
it's
not
very
complicated, right?
no, it's not complicated, and then of course you need beeswax.
Apparently, you need a lot of that. Is this something that is easy for people to find?
Yes, it's
Okay.
readily available. Yeah, it's easy to find, and it really depends on what you're making. Some items do not take very much wax at all. The bowls take more because I put several coats on them, but you can make a lot of things with just one or two layers of the wax.
Now, do you sell on shows or galleries? What are the channels where you do this as a business?
Mostly I sell like out of my studio or in gallery shows. I do gallery exhibits.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah.
I would say the spring shows are not a very good channel for you because of the heat that is
Oh,
usually involved with those.
yeah.
Let's see a few more of your pieces here that we have.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. Show me the next picture. Oh, beautiful.
All
Tell
right.
me
That,
about that one.
that one I actually have here in my studio.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not in my studio. I'm in my husband's office, but it's right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of small. It's about 10 by 10.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and this piece was done with lots and lots of layers. It's on a wood substrate. Um, and it's basically a lot of layers, and then some of the layers are scraped off, and then the very top layer is melted to drip down over the bottom layers.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very cool. I have a question for you from guest 4582. Why beeswax? Why not paraffin? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that
Yeah,
right.
paraffin.
That can be purchased at hobby shops.
You probably could do this sort of thing with paraffin, but it's not going to be archival, and it's not going to be.
Oh,
It's not going to. I'm not really sure whether you can mix that with the damar resin, and the damar resin is what makes it hard.
Mm.
It creates a, otherwise you're just going to have the wax and it's going to be very soft, and if you expose it to any kind of heat at all, it's going to start to get really uh, just soft and bendable, pliable. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so
So you may not mix well with that.
right.
And you meant the archival, so let's talk about how long does a piece like this last. And if you don't mind moving your camera a tiny bit lower.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
lower.
now I can see your whole face. That's
I'll
good.
put it up straighter. Sorry, I'm trying to get my sound good too. So
Okay,
that better?
yes.
Okay. It's extremely archival. As I was saying, it goes all the way back to the Greeks and the Egyptians. The Greeks used to put it on their warships.
Oh,
They used to, yeah, and they're still finding, pieces in archaeology from the Egyptians that are still like in pristine condition. It
uh-huh.
just They used to create what they call, that's not this is not the name for it, but it's like a death mask. So when somebody would die, they would create their image in
Oh,
encaustic and make a mask of it to put on the sarcophagus or
uh-huh.
oh yeah. So it's very long lasting. It will outlive the owners.
So, of course, it's not a new form of art, right?
No,
You just
right.
mentioned that. But is it becoming more popular now? I mean, I heard about encaustic maybe a year ago, not a long time ago. Never heard of that before.
Mhm.
So, is there something happening with that? How do you feel that is?
I think among the art community, it's pretty well known, but it's becoming more and more known among everybody. It's just I know in my area, it's not that well known, or not that many people are doing it. So that's one of the reasons I really am excited
Uh-huh.
about taking a class with Curious Mondo, because it's just not that well known, and it's
Yeah.
so much fun.
It
It's
is
really
fun. That I know. Yes. So is it fair to say that there are no guilds around this art form, or do you know of any specific groups?
There's an international encaustic
Guild.
organization. Yes, and
Okay. Uh-huh.
that's the only one I'm aware of, and I think they have like branches in different states.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you aware if there? I haven't checked. Are you aware if there are groups on social media related to encaustic art?
No, actually, that I'm not sure about that.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
you started one now.
I can start one. There may be one out there, but I'm not aware of it.
I have a question here. Allison is asking, can you show the iron you mentioned?
The what?
The iron that you said you use an iron?
Oh, it's not really an iron, although you can use an iron. What I meant was it's a you know I'm just losing my train of thought, but the what you make, what you like, a pancake griddle. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
So
can.
that's enough. You don't have to do anything once you lay the wax on the base.
Right. Basically, you're melting the wax on the griddle as though the griddle were your palette. So it
Okay.
becomes liquid, and then you just paint with the little puddles of color, the way you would,
Okay.
yeah, puddles of any other kind of medium.
Okay. And Mary Harriman wants you to mention again, what do you use to color the wax?
I use powder pigments.
Powder
There's
pigments. Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty readily available in
Uh-huh.
lots of places. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Let's see one more of your pictures that we have here.
Okay.
I'm excited to show everything that you sent.
Hey. Oh, there's
Okay.
the bowl.
Uh-huh.
That's
That's
just
a
different shape
blue
bowl.
and uh-huh.
Right. Uh-huh.
Was that a free form or did you
No,
use
yeah, that one I created over, like I used another bowl for a mold, kind of
uh-huh.
a rectangular bowl for a mold. So
That's very cool. What's
yeah,
the reaction of people when they in a gallery if they have the chance to touch this and see? Because I think it's not something that they expect to see as a bowl.
right, right. Well, that's one of the fun things about when I've had exhibits, is that I really encourage people to touch this. This is one artwork, one kind of art that people, that I want you to touch, because the oils in your skin really only improve it. It creates a sheen on it, makes it shiny. But yeah, most people are really surprised. They're like, really? That's wax? Like, yep, it's wax. But
That's
and it's the damar resin in it that makes it, hard.
uh-huh. That's very cool. So what is the latest piece that you are creating? Tell me a little bit about it.
Actually, I'm working on a couple pieces for for the Curious Bondo class. So,
Ooh.
and some will be the bowls and some will be just some flat surfaces. But I can show you another piece that if anyone that likes to do landscapes, this is
Oh,
another example of what you can do.
okay. Let's see it. I'm always excited to see everything.
Now, I don't know if can you see this?
Let me see here. Wait a second. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it also has a lot of volume.
Yeah, it's this part down here is three-dimensional.
Uh-huh.
It's just made of wood chips that were left over from making some
Nice.
frames. So
What I like a lot about this art form is that you can actually, incorporate other things that you make or like or have around into
right,
the art piece, right?
exactly. Yeah, this is old wood chips. This area here is made of coffee grounds.
Wow. Nice.
So yeah,
Yes.
I
How,
just
how big of a piece is this one?
this one is about maybe 2 feet by 1 foot.
Uh-huh.
Trying to get it in the camera there.
That's very cool. I'll let you sit, and I have another question for you.
Okay.
Let me see. Guess 705. Do I have to know how to draw or paint to be able to do this?
No, you don't. Another beauty of the beeswax.
Uh-huh.
You really don't. I mean, it's up to you. If you like I say, if you want to do a portrait or if you want to do a landscape or something like that, you certainly can. And
Uh-huh.
drawing helps a little, but it's not imperative. And I am not a very good drawer,
Uh,
but I was able to do the Einstein with without too
yes.
much trouble. But
Uh-huh.
you really don't. And if you love abstract, this is definitely the medium for you because you can just do all sorts of things.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
diverse.
So when you use like you show the wood chips on, is that glued to the base or the wax will do the job there and make everything together?
In some cases, like with this piece,
Uh-huh.
I glued the pieces with using like E6000 to the base, which is wood. It's all
Okay.
wood, and then I applied the wax
On
onto
top.
the different pieces. So it kind of depends on the piece you're working with. But the landscape I just showed you, those pieces are just stuck on there with the wax.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's see one more picture.
Okay,
Flowers.
now that's a lot of reusing recycled stuff. The rose is actually made of coffee filter,
Oh.
the coffee filter,
Uh-huh.
and the rock that it looks like it's sitting in is really aluminum slag that was left over from um, a melting process. So it's like old, unusable aluminum, and then it's
That's
just covered with wax. The whole thing is covered with wax,
uh-huh.
and then the thorns are the only not wax thing, I guess.
Wow. That's very cool. That's very, do we have another? Let's see if we have another picture. Oh, another flower.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the sunflower. That one is made of toilet paper rolls and an old wasp nest.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
I love the final result, but just thinking about using different materials to
Right.
create the piece, it's very exciting to me. That's very cool.
And
Uh,
that's one
El-
of the things I love about the 3D version of it is that you don't have to necessarily, spend a lot on things or things you have around the house. You can
you
cover
can
with
make
wax
them.
and have fun.
So is this your main channel for creativity today, or do you still do watercolor and other art forms?
This is mainly what I'm doing now. I occasionally will still do watercolor. I sort of have dabbled in other mediums. I like to do beaded, I like to
Ooh,
do
we're
beading.
going to get along fine when you come here.
I love beading.
Do
I've
you
done,
do the bead with a needle and a thread, or you use a loom?
yeah, I do the needle and the thread. Yeah, I
Okay,
like.
nice.
Yeah, I love that, and I've done a little bit of glass fusing, not a
Hmm.
lot, little bit of that. So I do play with other things, but right now encaustic is my main
Is
love.
the main thing, the main love now.
Yeah.
Um, we have a video to show We are going to, I know it's about 3 or 4 minutes long. We are going to show about a minute. The video will have no sound for you guys. But I want you, even though it's a little challenging because you don't see the video, but tell me about the story of this video
Okay.
while we show.
Okay.
And I'll let you know once they can see. This is challenging for us too. It's
I
the
know.
first time we show a video on
Oh,
the
okay.
podcast. So as long as I see the video is going, you can talk about it. When did you create the video? Okay. Oh, so very new. Yeah. Okay. So Chase, let me know when we have it. That is exciting. Okay, that's okay. Okay, I'm just waiting for that for a second. And then I think I have, after that, one question for you here. Okay. Okay, I'm just here waiting for them to say the video is on, because I cannot see from here. But it's worth for you to wait and see. Well, since I'm waiting, I think they are working on that.
Okay.
Guest 4582 is asking, when you use a regular bowl for a mold, do you need to use anything to keep the encaustic wax resin pigment from sticking to the bowl?
That's a good question. Yes, I usually cover it with like saran wrap, some kind of a plastic wrap or wax paper before I start building the shape of the bowl.
It's just to protect the bowl.
Right, the wax, because the wax won't stick to those things.
Okay, so the video is on now. Tell us a
Okay.
little bit about it.
Okay, this is
It's not
actually
on?
nope. It is.
Oh, they told me that they showed the video while we were talking.
Oh,
So I
okay.
missed that. But tell me a little bit about the video.
Well, that video was of an exhibit that that I did actually in a gallery where I have my studio. So and it showed it probably, I don't know how much of it they showed, but there were a lot of things in there that we've already looked at, as well as some other things. But there were quite a few things in that incorporated a lot of reusable items.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
nice.
that was my goal for it, was to really show people that you can repurpose things and find a new use for a lot of things.
Yes, and we are going to add the video to creativitynfocus.com right below the podcast.
Okay.
You will be able to see that as well anytime you want. So you can see the full length, because like I told you, it's about 4 minutes, and you're going to get excited when you watch that. So the studio, do you have a studio in your home?
Actually, I'm in between studio. I have a studio that's in the gallery where that
Oh, cool.
exhibit was, and I'm getting ready to probably move the studio into my home because it's a bigger space. So
Okay.
yeah, I have a bigger space in my basement that I'm gonna start.
Nice. So I know you're coming in March here to Curious Mondo, right, to give a class?
So
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what you're planning here.
okay, well, I'm gonna be talking about like safety issues, the kinds of tools that you need, different ways to use different things you might already have, how to incorporate some like throwaway items that you might have around the house, that sort
Nice.
of thing. How to fix mistakes that you might make. That's another nice thing about encaustic. It's very forgiving. If you scratch it or something, it's very easy to fix most of the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so different ways to color it, different ways to add pigment and color to the pieces. Just lots of fun stuff.
Very cool, very cool. The class will be March 23rd, 24th, and 25th. As usual, we go live, so you can interact with the artists as much as you want, and it is free to watch the full course. So you don't want to miss this. You already can register for that. Just go to curiousmondo.com, click on upcoming courses, and you're going to see the page for Renee. I'm excited. I really like when we can reuse stuff and make into new pieces that people can share and love. I think that's a great thing.
too.
Yeah, and you know, I am also excited to get to know more about encaustic art. Like I told you, I've been hearing more and more about it. I've seen very few works that some friends made, and they were like jaw-dropping in itself. So I know the possibilities are really amazing for this, right?
Right. It's just all, whatever your imagination can think
Ca-
of, you probably incorporate with wax.
If it can conceive, it can achieve, right?
That's right.
Now, Renee, what keeps you inspired? What inspires you to create?
Um, well, I think I'm mostly inspired by God and the creation. You know, and
Uh-huh.
nature, all the stuff around us. There's just so much beauty and so much color. And I liked on that video. There's a piece that you can't see too well, but it's about as big as a door.
Uh-huh.
It has
Wow.
lots of things from nature incorporated, lots of like bark from trees, old pieces of rusted iron, um, just lots of things we throw away or that we wouldn't really necessarily think about incorporating into art. So I'm really inspired by nature.
That's very cool. I
Yeah.
heard a phrase today that when we feel happy, and I think every time we are creating, you know, there are many emotions in the process, and many times there
Oh
is some
yeah.
frustration, right? But when you see the finished piece, there is happiness. And what I heard today is that whenever there is happiness, there's also certainty that God is around.
Oh yeah. I like
Uh,
that. That's so.
And
I agree.
so I think people need to be inspired to create, you know,
Right.
because it's an exercise also. You know,
Right.
train ourselves to be happy and train ourselves to a higher purpose all the time.
Yeah. And I think encaustic is a good way to do that just because it's just so much fun and you really don't need prior knowledge of any kind if you're just open to learning how to use the tools and that sort of thing. There's no wrong way to do it, so it's just a lot of fun to see what you can come up with.
And that's always good, right? Because sometimes we you know, refrain ourselves of trying something because we need to have an expertise on something, right?
Right, right,
Specific and a degree or something, and say no, you
right.
just need to to be able to make it,
Yeah.
nothing else.
We often have a preconceived idea of what is required, and
Uh-huh.
so there's
That's very cool.
no
Any
correct.
final words to the viewers that are here inspired by you today?
Just I'm so excited about the class in March, and I hope you'll all come and join it because I think you'll just have a lot of fun and learn a lot of new things. And I really would like to get knowledge of this medium
Uh-huh.
out out more. I would like more people to know about it because it's like I said, it's just a lot of fun, and you can incorporate it with so many different things, including other mediums like
Yeah.
oils and that sort of thing. So
That I love that. I'm really excited to have you here. Thank you so much today for this interview and for your time.
thank you.
Okay, I really enjoyed. And thank you very much for being here and, of course, interacting with us. Remember, this podcast does not go away. So if you want to rewatch 10 times, yep, it stays right where you're watching right now. And also in any podcast platform. Now, if you know of people that are interested in this topic, why not guide them to this podcast right now and tell them, you know, come watch this. I never heard of this before, but it sounds interesting. For me, the feeling is many times when we have a course coming here, I have, oh, this is going to be interesting. But in this one, I'm thinking this is going to be interesting and super fun because I already know I can incorporate other passions of mine with this. And the pieces are really amazing. So you've seen many. Watch the video below the podcast as well about her pieces because it's really, really inspiring. Now, if you can take a second and put a like out there or even leave a review for this podcast, we really appreciate because, you know, the more you interact with the podcast, especially if you are watching on Facebook or any other social media platform, is what makes them show to other people. And, you know, we need to spread art around, not hate, not sad things, happy things. And art is always a thing that can not only inspire, but change people's lives and put them on a new journey. And that's why this podcast exists. So please share, like, comment, leave a review. All these things, they help a lot. And don't forget to pop into curiousmondo.com, click on upcoming courses, and register for the course. Like I said, it is free for you to watch. You're going to have a lot of fun, okay? So I'll see you back here soon. And thank you again, Renee. Hope to see you here right by my side in a month or so. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you next time.